This week's project was rough. It was not an easy turn. It fought me the whole way, but I'm really pleased with the way it turned out. Stay tuned. Let me know what you think. Leave a comment. And let me know if this style of a bowl is for you. Not to give much away, but it is a natural edge with a large hole in the side. All right, this is my next project, and it has some issues. It is a maple, it's not a burl, I'll get to that in a minute. It is spalted nicely. It's fairly dry, it's right around 20%. It does have an issue here though, it's got this. It's a bark inclusion, I'm not sure yet how deep that's gonna go. But this is going to be the bottom, so this would be turned away anyways. So I think I'll be okay there. Looks like that's the end of it there. So I'll be okay. But why am I even bothering? Why am I bothering with a piece that's got this obvious problem here? Again, it is maple and it is spalted. But if you remember a couple weeks ago, I had a scar. This is another scar. Beautiful surface. The last time I maintained a thick rim, I'll link to that video here in this one. This time I'm going to do it live edge, but I'm going to leave it thin. Just because, again, same problem. It goes to nothing down here, basically. So I couldn't make this flat to make this a rim. So I'm just going to be a natural edge, and I'll just follow this edge around. Meaning this will be the top and this will be the bottom down here. So I'm going to get it mounted between centers. And I'm going to get a glue block on it down here on the bottom because I think that's the only thing that I'm going to be able to hold it with. I don't think I can get a tenon. So let's go ahead and get ready for a glue block. Just doing a little digging here to see how deep this goes. I found a little critter. Looks like an ant. There's probably more. Again, I'm just going to dig as much of this out so I know what I'm dealing with. It's going to be slow going in the beginning. I'm doing 200 RPM. I'm going to shape some of this bottom off so that I can get it a little more balanced and a little more speed on it. The bottom actually cut fairly well because it was fairly continuous, but at this point I'm just trying to get rid of some weight. A reduction in weight will mean an increase in speed. The other reason it's slow is I'm hitting here, nothing here, and a little bit there, but for half of this I'm not touching yet, so that's going to be a little slow. So until I get that round, I'm going to have to go slow. This goes fairly deep. That may be a hole in the bowl. It may be an epoxy candidate as much as I'd like to say not, but it may be. Because it goes fairly deep. But this is one of these pieces I won't know until I get it shaped a little bit more what I'm dealing with. I like leaving these shots in here. This is slow motion. It gives you an idea of what I'm dealing with. You can see as the wood comes around, I'm only cutting in one spot. The secret here is to just let the tool do the work. Don't push in on it, just hold it steady and let it cut. So I didn't show the inside of this It's hard to get an angle where you can see it well, but let's talk a little bit about what's happening. I've hollowed it out some. It's still really thick. I can go thinner yet. A little bit, because it's still wet, so it has to dry. But I still am only about 300 RPM, and here's the reason why. It's out of balance, and it's going to be out of balance till I'm done, because I've got this high side here, and down here I've got nothing. So you see there, it's out of balance. So I'm not going to be able to go very high in speed. I've cut a 10 in here so I can reverse it and get it centered and then get a glue block on the bottom. That way I can position it at least. I won't hold it with this for any length of time. It's just to get it positioned. Get a glue block on it, then I'm back in this position and do some more work on it. I'll thin it out. It looks like it's not uniform, but that's because up high I'm thin, but then as I come down, I'm not following the shape of the outside of the bowl, so therefore because this is lower it looks thicker, but as I follow the shape of the bowl, that'll get thinner over there as well. Hopefully that explains it. So we'll go ahead and do some more work on it. I think just looking at where the opening is going to be, I feel like it's going to be safe, but we'll assess that when the time comes. If we have to do something about it, we can. But for now, I think we're okay. So keep on going. It is rough going, but keep on going, get a little more turned out. It's been rough. I've had to go slow because it is way out of balance. I've gotten rid of a lot of mass. Mass is unbalanced. If it's out around and it's heavy, it's going to make the out of balance worse. But I've got it thin-ish at the top. I've got rid of most of the inside now. It's got to go deeper, but I'm in solid wood. It's continuous in there, so it's a little better. And I've been gradually sneaking the speed up. I'm up to 370, 360. That's a little shaken there, but I will move a little more, I'll be fine. Watching the playback, it's actually looks a little worse than it is. This is at 2 times speed, so it's not quite as shaky as what it's showing there. One of the issues that I had with this bowl and why it was a little rough, besides the out of balance, which we talked about, is when I'm working the inside, it's a deep bowl, and I can't get the tool rest positioned exactly where I need it to be. So a lot of times my bowl gouge is cantilevered out over the tool rest. Ideally, the tool rest would be very close to your work so that it's well supported. Anytime you cantilever it out, it makes it a little more difficult. It tends to vibrate around a little more. It's been rough. It's probably one of the rougher ones that I've had to deal with. Rough, just difficult to cut, difficult to get a good cut, and it's been a lot of work. But the good news is I've removed enough weight that I'm up over 500 RPM, so I'm starting to cut better, I'm getting a smoother surface. And that has finally opened up. I got rid of enough on the inside that it exposed this hole. And that's really what I wanted with this piece. Besides this natural edge, I wanted to expose this hole. That was all just bark and rot, and I'm down to a good surface here now. I've left a little bit here. It's not going to be much because it's bark, but just to keep this stable until I'm ready to do finishing, because I don't want this piece flying off. But it seems like it's really stable, so I'm not too concerned. I will stand out of the line of fire just in case, but it seems like it's very stable. I've got to go deeper. My walls are probably as thin as I need them to be up here. This is going to be a thicker piece because I want to show that off, so it will be thicker. I think I'm going to switch to the outside because I've got a bit more on the rim to do, and I'll get this a good surface and then I'll work the bottom. The outside was rough, again, because I was going very slow. But now that I can go faster, I should be able to get a much better surface. You can see here up near the rim, I'm cutting air at least 80% of the time as that rim goes around the top. The other thing is, though, I have increased the speed. I'm going about 600 RPM now, again, because of the weight reduction. And you can also see on the outside, I have the benefit of the tool rest being very close to my work. And that allows me to ride the bevel, hold the tool steady, and it gives me a much smoother surface. Now, I did have some misshapen on the outside, if that's not really a word, but it's not a nice continuous surface. Here you can see I've got a little bit of a bump, so I stop occasionally and check that out, and then I'll just work that surface. And then when I get it down to where I want, I'll make a continuous pass from the rim down to the base. Here you get a good shot of the hole in the bottom of the bowl. As I made it thinner, that hole became more and more exposed. Again, I am struggling a little bit down here near the bottom because my tool is reaching quite far over the tool rest. I could have used my hollowing jig here, I think. It would have been advantageous, but I was okay. I didn't have a lot of work left to do, so the bowl gouge worked all right. Here I'm just making some pencil marks where I've got to do a little bit of cleaning up. So right where the transition is from the side to the bottom, there's a little bit of roughness, but the bottom itself is getting thin enough, so I don't want to go any further than I have to. So that's why I put the pencil marks on there to delineate where I need to do some work. I stopped often on this project and repositioned my tool rest just to get as close as I possibly could to my work. The problem is that piece that's coming around. So even though I've got to work here near the bottom, I've got to be aware of that piece that's on the high side that's coming around. So again, being very careful with the positioning of that tool rest. So here I'm getting ready to start sanding. So I started with 80 grit and I worked my way up to 180. At that point, I stopped and applied some sanding sealer. You can see that here, and you can see already what a difference in color that makes. It really brings out the richness of the wood. I really love the way this bowl turned out. Beautiful grain pattern. I finished it with a tung oil because I wanted to leave the natural looking surface. Here you can see the hole that's left on the side of the bowl from that bark inclusion. Here a bit of a close-up. That actually went all the way to the rim. So that rim is not continuous. Once I got close to the end and dug the bark out, they were no longer attached. Here you can see the scar up close. You can see actually little tiny branches that are sticking out from it. So it's a very irregular shape on the top, but I really like this style of a bowl. It finished at about 13 inches in diameter, 9 inches on the high side. So a beautiful bowl overall. Again, leave me a comment. Let me know what you think.